Hello, Stagey fam.
Oh my god, hey!
It's me, Aaron James. I nearly said Mickey Joe Theatre.
Did you forget it? You're not Mickey Joe Theatre, I am. How Shakespearean of us to have a mistaken identity right at the beginning of this video.
Yeah.
What is going on with my shirt collar? Excuse me.
Just a little jump.
I'm Mickey Joe Theatre, everybody.
And I'm Aaron James, and we are in similar looking jackets.
We are.
We're in our brown suede.
We're both trying to dress like cowboys today.
Yes, we are, because what are we up to see?
Cowbois.
Yeah, is it Cowboys?
No, it's definitely Cowboys. It is definitely Cowboys, but because it's B-O-I-S, which is like young people speak. I'm being obnoxious and pretending it's French and calling it Cowbois.
Ah, so we have travelled all the way to Stratford-Upon-Avon to the phenomenal, historic, one of the most stunning theatres in the UK, the Royal Shakespeare Company, the RSC.
Which I only recently visited for the first time.
It wasn't that long ago.
No, it took me years to get here, and now second trip already.
Yeah, and this time you're going into a theatre that you've not been in before.
Yeah, because there's multiple spaces within this building.
You're completing the set.
So we're in the Swan Theatre tonight?
We're in the Swan.
We're in the Swan.
So I've only ever been in the Swan once, and that was to see Miss Littlewood the musical. So this will be my second time in, and to see Cowboys.
Cowboys.
And you are very excited about this because you've seen the playwright's previous work.
So this is a new play by Charlie Josephine, who wrote I, Joan, which, funnily enough, was also performed at another big Shakespearean venue, because it was performed at the Globe. Last summer?
Yes.
Autumn? Last summer. Yes, which I loved. I thought it was sensational. I thought it balanced so many great things of being like queer advocacy, but also queer joy, and like telling a historical story and marrying it to this contemporary queer perspective in a way that didn't feel forced. It was great. It did so many things really well, and I thought it was the right kind of just like riotous and exciting and galvanizing, I think I called it. I wrote a review for whatsonstage.com.
And now we're seeing a similar kind of take on a different kind of aspect, which is westerns.
Western.
So we're thinking
queer
Cowboys. Queer, trans, non-binary, joy.
Love all of that.
In a western, with cowboys.
Yeah.
So let's go off to the theatre. And here is the gorgeous RSC Theatre. There are two theatres inside, the Royal Shakespeare Theatre and the Swan Theatre. There's also an exhibition in there, which I've done before, which is always really good. There's a shop, which you can see right into those doors.
I thought of something else I wanted to say.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, coming here to see Shakespeare, which we did earlier this year, we saw As You Like It, like, the stuff of bucket lists. But also, something very exciting about coming to the RSC and seeing new writing. That, I think, is very exciting. Because all of Shakespeare was new writing once upon a time, pre the Arts Council and pre-YouTube and pre-vlogging, but I just think that's fun.
And a big thing that I do love about the RSC is that they're not kind of set in, they have to be period. These theatres are not like how it was in Shakespeare times. The Globe in London is a lot more akin to that. You go there kind of to experience Shakespeare as it was originally set to be performed. To a certain extent,
yeah. They definitely have one. The Globe definitely has 1 foot in that world, and then but here it can really be anything. Don't come here just expecting it to be solely traditional Shakespearean theatre. You can see a whole host of stuff. Matilda, if people don't know,
started here.
Started in Stratford-Upon-Avon.
And My Neighbour Totoro in London was part RSC.
Yes,
produced it
by the RSC. Yeah.
There's a lot of fun things that kind of the RSC do. They like to surprise. I feel like that's a big thing with this theatre. They like to push the boundaries because they have the capability to.
Yeah.
As one of the leading international theatres, they have a lot more capacity to do these fun things with two phenomenal theatres.
Yeah.
And also, look at this fun setting. Like, I will say this is probably the nicest location to like stay out there for pre-show.
It's lovely.
We've seen street entertainment on there, the canals are just over there.
Lovely,
it's such a beautiful setting, and also like this whole town is just so nice to walk around, and there's loads of pre-dining options at the theatre or not at the theatre, and you have a shop that you can go around and the exhibition inside.
We just went to the Prospero Lounge and then inadvertently walked past Shakespeare's house.
Yes.
As you do.
There's just so much history here, which is then fun when you're then going to go and see new work, and seeing in the place where some of the most beloved theatre is known from and the birthplace of that playwright, to then be here to witness new theatre that hopefully will go into fun life.
It's great that centuries later Stratford-upon-Avon is still birthing exciting new theatre.
And we've already had so many theatrical discussions just walking around or en route here. It's very exciting. And we ventured inside to the shop, and would you know it, Christmas has already came, and they've got Shakespearean style baubles. Oh, that's fun. This is the 12 Days of Christmas. Very classy, and just fun animals. Mickey is exploring already.
I'm looking specifically for Shakespearean Christmas decorations and what those might look like.
And look what we found. We have found the section with the Cowboys, with the play script, as well as, look at these LGBT plus badges that fit with the show. And then to Christmas. Very cute.
These are Shakespearean.
Yeah, there's Shakespearean quotes.
Yeah.
And it says, playtext and badge set buy together for £16, and all purchases support the work of the RSC. Ooh.
This, I theorise, may be the closest we're getting to specifically Shakespearean Christmas decorations. No, it's Dickens, really. But we have some nice Dickensian Christmas things going on there. A little bit of Christmas Carol for you.
It seems like we have found some Shakespearean Christmas decorations. Mickey said that these were here earlier in the year when we last came, so I guess you can find these the whole time of year. But as you can see, Shakespeare, and then I can see Bottom from A Midsummer Night's Dream. So we've got a cool mix here from all the shows. You can see Hamlet down there, and there's a swan. Very fun mix, so you can get your Shakespearean themed tree for Christmas. So from the shop, which is on that side, when you come through the big entrance, you then walk through, and then we're now in the Swan Theatre section, which is the back half. There's also a back entrance there into this section too. And we have received our programmes, and guess what? Can I get it to focus? There we go. We got the That Don't Mean Nothing But Love badges too. Mickey?
Hello.
What did we decide on getting?
Ice cream?
Yeah.
Yes. I got a Jude's very vanilla, not just slightly vanilla. It's very vanilla. It is delicious. I could eat 3 more.
And Mickey treated me to the salted caramel version. I've always heard just the best things about Jude's. And we have taken our seats. Here's the programme, and this is our view in the Swan Theatre, which is the smallest space of the RSC. I think it's much prettier than the Royal Shakespeare Theatre. I love this space. It is us again.
Oh my god, yeehaw! No, I tried that. Is it yeehaw? Yeehaw. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
I don't think it works in my accent. Yeehaw.
Weird.
Yeah.
So anyhow, it's a little while after we saw the show. We are back in our flat, and it was so much fun.
So much fun. Oh my gosh. It was like, I can talk critically about it, and I have, in a review that if you haven't seen already on my channel, you will be seeing soon on my channel. Stay tuned, make sure you're subscribed. But aside from just my critical perspective on it, I just really loved it because it was exciting and dynamic. I knew kind of what to expect. So in that first like half hour when it was just like, oh, I'm just a kind of a slow Old West saloon play where not that much explosive really happens, I was like, I know for a fact that this is going to like change several notches and get dialed up several different gears. You hadn't seen Jayne.
No, so for me this was my first kind of experience with Charlie Josephine's writing.
Yeah, so was that a surprise to you that it adapted so much and exploded into something completely different?
I don't know, because I think I went in with this idea of a Western, and actually it hits all the notes of a Western with that theme that it's like a typical film structure of Act 1, Act 2, Act 3.
Very cinematic.
So, like, your beginning, it's all your development and kind of setting down the relationships and making sure you care about everyone. And then you get Act 2 where it's like, you get this happy equilibrium that then gets smashed to pieces. And then Act 3 is just this literally all guns blazing, action-packed finale. And I think what I loved about it was that it has such a beautiful quality in making sure comedy is used, and that, because I'm somebody that isn't great with loud noises, like loud bangs, anything like that. Always as a teenager, like growing up as a child, that was my one thing in the theatre that I didn't like was, will there be sudden noises that are going to make me jump and then I'm going to feel anxious or on edge during the show. And this show, as a warning, does have an extremely large amount of blank fire guns in it.
So many.
Countless. But as somebody that normally would be off-putting for, the comedy and how it's utilised, and I think how you kind of get used to it in a sense.
Yeah, it's an expertly instilled tension throughout the second act, but then it's a brilliantly well diffused tension. Yeah. And that kind of shootout sequence is the least scary. It's crazy and riotous, but it's also fun.
Yeah, it's kind of that chase, like the chase scene idea, and it gets tense, then light, then tense,
it's
then
like
light,
a slightly
then
more
tense,
dangerous
then light.
grown-up Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, essentially. Which I think is actually, I can recommend it to people that aren't normally fans of any of that kind of shock side to it.
Yeah. If the show is sounding a bit strange in the way we're describing it, I would compare it. What I said to you immediately after it ended was it felt like a queer Tarantino.
Yes.
Which is not something I've ever experienced before, but worked on so many different levels.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you love those indie films that are really well written, really well acted.
But also like dangerous and urgent and pulsating and aggressive, but also with this level of charm and beauty and sensitivity. It was an interesting fusion of sort of like traditionally masculine ideas with a femininity of approach, because this is also, if we haven't said it enough times, this is a piece of queer theatre.
Yeah.
This is like trans and non-binary inclusive and talking about like queer theory without talking about it, just portraying it and articulating those ideas without saying the words.
And it had some of the best written scenes for this. There's a moment, I'm not going to reveal what happens specifically, but there's a moments with a child in the show and their reaction to finding out that a character's had been on their gender journey and has found to accept themselves and know who they are, and it's explained to them, and their reaction gave, I mean, it was the biggest round of applause, which also was like this affirming moment that this theatre was such a safe space.
A very supportive audience. But I think all of the characters within this play are all, and I'm so annoyed, I'm just thinking of this now and I didn't say it in my review, so you're getting exclusive thoughts. It's like a metaphor for society. You have trans and non-binary characters, you have people who are sort of like on the beginning of that journey, who are just coming to terms with it, who look to those characters for support. You have a sort of a more traditional, like, masculine presence who aren't open to those kind of ideas. You have a representation of how children actually react to this and their kind of innocence, and then you have women who are supportive, you have women who are indifferent. It's a whole spectrum of society is depicted within this. I have an interesting talking point, because it's set in the Old West and it's costumed in the Old West, and the set design and all of that stuff, and the music, all very atmospheric, but the accents...
Yeah, the accents are... Everybody was using their own accents.
A host of regional British accents.
Yeah, so like Sophie Melville was using her Welsh accent.
Yeah.
And I felt like it worked, and I think what I liked about that specifically is the fact that you do go into this play and very quickly kind of are not verbally told, but via some things that happen in it, it's kind of made out that the rules of like the general world are going to be like taken out, in terms of like there's some magical elements that would not exist in this, and I think it's to make you kind of disassociate with what you would instinctively, like you're like, oh, we're in the Old West, and then the accents come out and you're like, okay, maybe we're not, where are we?
Yeah, it's because that exists as a concept to ground the story there, but really the fact that they use their own accents, it allows their own humanity to emerge.
Yeah, exactly.
And it hits the nail on the head of why this is relevant and pertinent to contemporary society.
I think it makes you care for the characters rather than
Also
feeling
that.
like you're going into archetypes and stereotypes.
Do you have a favourite costume anyone wore? Because I have several.
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, the cowboy outfits were the best.
Cowboy outfits were great. The details on Charlie Parkhurst's cowboy outfit.
Yes.
With like the gender symbols, and it's just so clever, so good. The first one that Jack wore in the first act with the red and the white cowboy boots, I have been shopping online for cowboy boots since, because I'm obsessed. Loved it so much.
The thing that surprised me was just how much of a set they were going to use of the Swan Theatre, going at the sides. And then the kind of above the top rigging area that they were going to go all up there, and the action was going to take place up there.
Yeah, it kind of expands into the audience, but it doesn't really come at you. It just kind of...
In the actual seatings of where the audience are placed, because it's a thrust theatre, they only really do what the RSC always does, which is utilise the entrances and exits on the...
It's alongside the audience without being sort of among the audience. So it's not... I wouldn't call this immersive.
No, I wouldn't call it immersive. And I feel like you can sit down and know, I'm safe, I'm not going to be interacted by people.
Yeah.
Which... I think it's maybe a good way of introducing yourself to immersive, because you're close enough but not. So I think in general with the RSC, if you're intrigued in the idea of immersive but you're a bit nervous to be at a show where actors come close to you or interact with you, the RSC, how it's staged in Thrust, will give you an idea of like being within the story.
There's one less degree of separation between you and what's happening on stage.
Exactly.
You just feel a little more emotionally present in it. You just feel more connected to it because of the way they stage stuff. And like, so well directed, so well staged. Shout out to the lighting people, the designers, intimacy and fight coordinators, because there are great moments of both.
Yes.
So good.
And there's water.
And there's water. I love a water feature.
I love when you can tell that this creative team have gone, what can we do? Let's go for it. Yeah. And it just felt like you could tell that there was such a great collaboration between the creatives, because everything was there for a purpose. Nothing was there just because, why not? It's all thought about.
Yeah.
And from the costuming and the hair and wig design as well.
Yeah.
I thought when one character goes through a journey, the seamlessness of how that happened was well done.
That was smart. It's just a really exciting, dynamic, entertaining piece of theatre. Like, it's not this artistic, pretentious thing. It's funny, it's riotous, it's compelling, it's mesmerising. It's
really accessible, and you don't need to be an expert in westerns. You don't have to be... This isn't a play that's Shakespeare or in that kind of tone, but you need to be really well equipped with a type of older language.
Completely, it's so accessible. If you're a member of the LGBTQ+ community, this is my favourite type of queer theatre, because it uplifts and it celebrates and it delivers queer joy and euphoria, while at the same time being grounded in reality and conveying the danger and the precariousness of the current environment.
Yeah,
basically, and it kind of talks about all of those themes. It's a fantasia while being realistic and dangerous at the same time. It so slickly switches gears between all of its different tones. If you are anyone who is an early career theatre maker, particularly if you are a writer or director, go and see this, because it's so rewarding as a piece of theatre. It's so clever, and it's just really exciting. It's galvanisingly exciting new theatre that makes me gesture a lot with my hands.
What he said. So, if this video has made you intrigued about the show and you'd like to see it for yourself, the show is running at the RSC in the Swan Theatre in Stratford-Upon-Avon until the 18th of November. And if you are between the ages of 14 and 25, you can get £10 tickets to see this show via their scheme with TikTok. And all you have to do is go online to their website and register, and then you can book tickets for that price, which I think is just incredible. I used to be a member of the RSC Key when that was what they used to do. I think a great way to push your boundaries, especially if you're kind of a younger person that's a fan of theatre and wants to experience different types of theatre that they might not have gone to before. And I think the RSC is a great place to go to if you're a fan of theatre. There's so much there that you can explore, like we showed you with the bookshop, and there's an exhibition there, and just there's so much information in that theatre that are great to look around. So we highly recommend. And look how cute this programme is. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment below if you've been to see the show, or if you've ever been to the RSC before and what did you see.
Yeah.
So we'd love to hear more about your adventures at the RSC, or have you seen a show when it's transferred and it was originally at the RSC, like Matilda?
Like Matilda.
So we'd love to hear that. And fingers crossed as well that this show has a further life, because I think it would do really well in London.
Absolutely.
Or anywhere that's kind of a big metropolis as well that has a big queer community.
Just more people need to see Cowboys.
Yes.
That's the takeaway. That's the takeaway from this. Is there a cowboy hat emoji they can comment with?
There is a cowboy hat emoji.
Cowboy hat emoji.
Don't forget to head over to Mickey's channel to go and watch his review on the show. And don't forget to subscribe and like, and we hope you have a magical and stagey rest of your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.